that motherfucker. I'm back, motherfucker.
And my bad, y'all. I fucking bad. We gonna get straight to it. Y'all know everybody was in here before. Y'all in here. Don't forget to like the stream, like she said. Shout out bunches. Let's get straight fucking to it, man. Oh,
Technology now allows the world to document these supposed possessions in a way that history has never led us before. Take a look at these potential cases of demonic possession and let me know if you think evil spirits can take control of our own bodies against our will. Chills. Number 10. The televised possession. Did you know that a real exorcism was aired live on television in the early 1990s? ABC aired The Exorcism on their news show, 2020. It covered Gina, a 16-year-old girl living in Wellington, Florida, who had been in and out of psychiatric wards after seeing demons. It soon becomes clear early on that Gina's supposed demons aren't going out without a fight. First, the priests literally have to hold her down. They even insist that she will levitate if they let her go. The rough handling only seems to make Gina even angrier for a while. Soon she calms down long enough to briefly talk about her situation. Apparently 10 vicious demons are taking turns controlling her every day, she says. 2 of the demons she named were called Zion and Minga. Whether or not Zozo was one of the 10 was never revealed. Soon after mentioning them by name, her possession kicks into high gear.
God the Father, God the Son, God the Spirit.
She looks very intimidating, especially for such a young country girl, but the raw hatred in her eyes wasn't enough to deter the priest from going through with the exorcism as planned. They recite prayers while she recites prophecies of war and destruction. One priest describes simultaneously feeling the power of God mixed with the power of evil as the supernatural forces fought each other for supremacy. After a long time, the spiritual intervention was finally over. In an interview 2 months after this episode aired, Gina describes herself as feeling much better now. The news story has never been picked up since, so who knows if Gina's change really lasted, or what has happened to her in the years since. So at first glance, this looks like it could be a real exorcism, but then again, it could be an instance of a news program taking advantage of a troubled girl and her family for ratings. There's no doubt that the priests believe Gina is possessed, and Gina herself is certainly not faking it, but there is just no way to tell if demons were really at work here, or if a group of overly religious people were being deceived by their own blind faith. Number 9. The Chosen One. As this exorcism footage goes to show, Christians aren't the only ones plagued by spiritual possessions. Here you see a supposedly possessed woman trembling under the power of group prayer, and it all begins with a single concerned-looking rabbi kneeling before her. The rabbi observes her for a bit, then he stands up and says something to the crowd. Under his orders, they surround the possessed woman and begin to chant as one. It all starts out quietly, but soon it grows louder and louder as the woman convulses before them, thrashing wildly. As the camera pans out, you can see that many rabbis have gathered here to perform this exorcism. The fact that they have so many religious leaders present indicates that whatever is inside of her must be very powerful. The religious chanting intensifies as the woman starts to cry out in pain. The rabbis continue to vigorously shake their fists at her while shouting for her demons to leave her body at once. At this point, the group exorcism appears to be working. They pause often to see if the demon has completely left her. When they see that it hasn't, they resume the shouting once more. The woman is held down and appears to still be going completely delirious. This video cuts out abruptly, so we don't know if the exorcism was successful or not, but by the end we can see that some members of the crowd are smiling in relief. Number 8. Sleep haunting. A YouTuber named Dale Pendlebury is getting terrible sleep and wants to know what is going wrong. It isn't necessarily a lack of sleep that's the problem, he thinks, but rather the quality. Even though he makes sure to get between 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night, he still wakes up in the morning feeling like he has gotten no sleep at all. He needs to get to the bottom of this, so he sets up a camcorder to record himself overnight in bed. Little did he know that what he was recording was his own possession. His camera only films when it detects motion or audio, which spares Dale the trouble of fast forwarding through the slow parts. When he reviews the tape, everything starts out looking ordinary, but soon after the first night, things start to get very strange. By night 3, something is apparently throwing him around in his own bed. More strange noises happen throughout the next night, and at one point he even sits up and looks straight at the camera. There is no expression on his face at all, but it looks like his eyes are completely open. Dale drops back hard onto his bed without a word. Then, on the final night, Dale does this. It's hard to tell if this is real or fake for sure. Number 7. TJ goes insane. A YouTuber named Adam Park and his friends are pulling an all-nighter with Call of Duty when they got interrupted by some loud noises at 3 in the morning. The only other person in the house besides them is Adam's roommate TJ, and the noises are coming from his room. Adam knows that something weird is going on, so he pulls out his phone and starts recording.
Okay. What the fuck?
Fuck is that?
Oh my god, what the fuck?
Yo.
Adam opens the door and peeks down the hall. This is what he hears.
TJ!
What the fuck, dude? Should we call the cops?
Yo, call the cops.
Call the cops, bro.
Oh my god.
Alright, let's go.
TJ!
Dude, go in there. We gotta
help him, bro.
TJ!
We gotta help him, bro.
The noise sends all 4 friends running back into Adam's room. One of them calls the police, and the rest decide to do what they can to help their friend. When they bravely walk back into the hallway, however, they find that TJ is far beyond help.
T. Yo. Yo, get the fuck out of here. Call
TJ, are you okay, dude? TJ!
Out of all of the videos on this list, I'd have to say that this one looks the easiest to fake. It wouldn't be that hard to have your friends all run around the house and then edit in some scary sound effects to make it seem like a possession. Then again, everyone does seem pretty scared in this video. Usually at least one person is a bad actor and easy to spot in fake videos. But these guys all seem very convincing. The way they keep switching from being scared to nervous seems realistic. If it is real, then I have no idea what happened after they stopped recording. Number 6, come here. Deanna Simpson lives in a notoriously haunted home in Hanover, Pennsylvania. She sees shadowy figures all of the time and has even recorded strange voices that seem to materialize out of thin air, like this one for example. If you were to hear these ghosts telling you to come closer, don't listen. They will apparently try to possess you in a second, at least according to Deanna. But if you want to know exactly how haunted this house really is, then don't just take Deanna's word for it. You should ask Katie Kairos, the Fox News reporter who was sent to cover the haunted home. One member of the film crew suddenly felt his wrist start to burn horribly. Deanna knew what had happened immediately and asked,
"Are you okay? Did you get scratched?"
He was behind the camera, but Simpson knew what had happened right away.
Oh my gosh.
He'd been scratched. Simpson says it's happened to her, her husband, and friends many times before.
Sure enough, there was in fact a fresh scratch on the inside of his arm. The cameraman later describes it is feeling like hot metal being pressed against his skin. Deanna says that this regularly happens to her and to anyone else who enters the home. She says that this is a warning shot from the ghost, but it could also be a possible possession attempt as well. She also claims to have been pushed down the stairs before. As the crew films, they see orbs coming from that area. Meanwhile, Katie gets touched and pinched by unseen figures as strange lights and noises fill the home. The reporter was definitely a believer by the time she left, along with the rest of her news team. Number 5. Brandon versus Zozo. Cole and Ethan go to the mall and buy a Ouija board so they can, in their words, put down a camera and see what happens. They buy the board and go back to their friend Brandon's home to set things up. It soon becomes obvious that they are not taking the idea of a Ouija board seriously at all. The whole time they constantly make jokes about becoming possessed. This negative attitude could be why things go so wrong so quickly. Even when it's time to try and summon ghosts, they continue to treat the situation with blatant disrespect.
Can anybody hear us? My hand is getting tired.
Okay, if anybody can hear us, move the thing. Because, move it.
Can't just be so mean.
That's how you guys are nice.
Nothing happens for a while, so they take a break and come back to it later. This time they take the Ouija board a little more seriously and try to concentrate a little harder. Before they know it, the pointer is actually moving by itself. Cole and Ethan both swear that they aren't intentionally pushing it. They ask for the spirit's name and the pointer lands on the number 6 in response, but when the spirit says that this is not its real name, they repeat the question again. Instead of saying its name, the pointer moves over to a picture of the moon and then stops. This is supposed to symbolize darkness, which means that the spirit is potentially evil. At this point, Cole no longer doubts the power of the Ouija board and decides to call things off. He is too scared to continue at first, but they think about it for a while and then come to the conclusion that they have to finish what they've already started. The friends all sit down around the Ouija board and start filming again. They ask what the spirit wants, and this is the response.
I'm not moving my hands, I swear. Like a holy.
Have you ever seen that?
No, dude.
Are you kidding me?
Did it just move? It definitely just moved by itself.
Are you kidding? Oh my god.
The spirit spells out the word peace and highlights the word no peace. Then it highlights the word goodbye, followed by the word no goodbye. In other words, it's saying that it's not leaving. No peace, no goodbyes, it's here to stay. By now, everyone is too scared to continue, but by now they also don't have a choice. Brandon is acting very strange at this point. He starts to move the pointer all over the board while grinning to himself. Then he starts laughing. None of his friends can even recognize him at this point. He's never looked or acted this way.
Okay, hey. That's
Still not funny after these.
hey.
According to them, Brandon became temporarily possessed that night and started lashing out at them. They managed to get him under control, but he has been depressed and not exactly himself after this experience ever since. As many YouTubers have pointed out, the friends never did properly end the ceremony, so maybe that's why he was able to become possessed. On the other hand, this could just be a group of friends trying to play a prank online. It's impossible to say for sure. If it is a joke, then they managed to successfully fool thousands of people. Number 4, Bob Larson. That's the name of an exorcist who travels around the country to supposedly rid people of their evil spirits. Here's just one of the many videos showing the Reverend in action.
I don't like you. Feelings mutual.
This woman claims to have been tormented by Satan ever since her sister began praying to a demon for help after their mother passed away. She alternates between speaking in tongues and using foul language at random. The way that Bob Larson performs this exorcism is almost playful at times, but soon everything becomes much more serious.
Hey, good spirit, come out of the perversion, spirits of witchcraft. All of you come now.
During a different exorcism, Bob Larson encounters a demon who prefers to mock him instead of putting up any form of physical resistance. He puts his hand on the possessed woman's forehead and gives her a sharp command to leave.
We left the curse. We left the curse. We left the curse.
We lit the gate.
A fire and death.
We've been here dead.
Oh,
As the exorcism wears on, the alleged demon appears to be losing its resolve. Eventually, it succumbs and leaves the woman's body. The renewed woman hugs the reverend while the crowd cheers on. Of course, these people could have been lying in order to get attention, or maybe they have legitimate mental disorders that make them think demons are lurking inside of them. They could even be paid actors working for Bob Larson to make him seem like a real exorcist when he is not one. On the other hand, however, they could actually be possessed. Once again, it's very hard to tell if these are true or not. Number 3, Pope Francis. Many regard this as the most clear-cut evidence for demonic possession of all time. Pope Francis is offering his blessings at St. Peter's Square in Rome when he places hands on a man who is very troubled indeed. Nobody in the crowd knew that the Pope was moments from performing a public exorcism, not even Francis himself. The person in the wheelchair is a 47-year-old Mexican father of 2 named Angel. Angel says that he has been possessed by demons as far back as 1999. So far, 10 exorcists have been unable to rid him of his demons, though they have all tried no less than 30 times. When Pope Francis lays hands on him, this is the end result. Watch closely and you'll see Angel's face twist and contort in pain, almost as if the demon is boiling under his skin. The longer the Pope lays his hands on him for, the more uncomfortable Angel becomes, and when the Pope releases him, Angel instantly slumps over and becomes tranquil. Is this an actual demonic force leaving his body, or merely the power of suggestion at play? Whatever transpired between the two of them apparently wasn't enough to end all of Angel's problems. The poor man claims he is still haunted by evil spirits. Some say that this video serves as evidence that demons and religion are not real, and that Angel is crazy instead of possessed. Others, however, insist that this is proof of just how powerful and dangerous the spirit world can be. If this is a real possession, then one thing is for sure, Angel is most likely stuck with his demons for good. After all, if the Pope himself can't get rid of them for you, is there anyone left who can? Number 2, Rule Possession. This footage is supposedly from the 70s and is said to have been removed from someone's attic in Iowa. You're about to see some shocking clips from this film, but the full version is so violent and disturbing that I can't show everything. Anyway, the video begins with someone walking up to a possessed person lying in bed. This person is very gaunt and still, breathing heavily, staring straight ahead. Suddenly, a nearby door opens all by itself. We can't show you this next part, but the person appears to be ripping their fingernails off one by one while they are still hunched over. I don't mean just a hangnail either, I mean the entire nail. The man looks up at the camera and the scene abruptly ends. Apparently being in pain must make this thing very happy, because in the next scene it's sitting upright in bed, smiling and laughing demonically.
That nigga look like he gets good.
The bedridden figure suddenly slashes around wildly while screaming, and then you won't believe what it does next. It slices away at its lips and neck with a razor blade until it is completely bloodied and disfigured. The scene makes up a large part of the video, but unfortunately I cannot show it here. At one point, the possessed man cuts off his lips and is staring straight at the camera, his teeth jagged and bloody. The final scene is him slicing away at its throat, and it looks like there's no way he could have made it. I really hope that this is all makeup and special effects. If so, it's very convincing and well done. Before we get to number 1, if you've ever been curious as to what I look like in real life, then follow me on Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT with underscores instead of spaces. I also have a Twitter at YT_chills where I post video updates. I'd really appreciate it if you followed me, and feel free to send me a DM if you have any questions or suggestions. If you'd like to see more of these videos in the future, then hit that subscribe button because I upload a new scary video every Thursday. Number 1, The Laughing Victim. This man was shot in the face somewhere in Brazil. A hospital worker started filming this after the gunshot victim suddenly jumped up and started laughing hysterically. Possessed or not, I've never seen someone get shot and act like this before. Have you?
Pai nosso que está no céu, santificado seja o vosso nome. Venha a nós o vosso reino. Seja feita a vossa vontade. Assim na terra como no céu. E com o nosso...
He eventually stops laughing for a second and then starts screaming in a deep voice while walking backwards. His muscles are extremely tense, and again, I've never seen anyone move like this before in my entire life.
Você não é poderoso. Você não é poderoso. Jesus, Deus está aqui. Deus é maior do que tudo. Você não é poderoso. Deus é maior.
Despite being shot in the face and losing a massive amount of blood, this man appears ready to fight anyone who gets in his way. All attempts to reason with him are met only with growls and aggressive posturing. It looks like they are holding something in front of him to keep him from attacking, possibly a walker or some other piece of medical equipment. The doctor appears to be asking for an explanation for his behavior, and his eyes grow wide with fury as he explains to them what is wrong. Lucifer, he says. In that moment, he claims to be possessed by the Prince of Darkness. If anyone can translate the rest of what he says in this video, please let me know. I'd really like to understand what he's saying. If this wasn't a possession, then this man was probably high on drugs and adrenaline. Still, I've never seen someone lean that far back without falling over, especially after getting shot in the head. If he was intoxicated and injured, then he probably shouldn't be able to do that. This is another one that looks like it might actually be a legitimate possession, but again, I turn to you for an answer. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe because I upload a new scary video every Thursday.
That good shit. Okay, the preacher, cut, fake. Homegirl was the worst motherfucking actress ever. Bitch gone. Dude, the last one, and the one before that, cocaine is all up. We're gonna go to this next one, man. 10 Ouija board possessions caught on tape by your boy. Chill. Did this chilling. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna look crazy here. Caught you stupid ass. Yeah. Yeah, check out Did this chilling, man. Check out. Let's get it.
Chills. Number 10, high-tech ghost. If you can summon spirits using a homemade Ouija board, then it stands to reason that a digital version would work just as well. This is what happened to an 18-year-old girl from Lima, Peru when she used a Ouija board app on her smartphone. After using the app with her friends to ask just a few questions, Patricia Quispe somehow managed to summon a spirit that apparently followed her home. Soon after playing with the board, her parents noticed that she started to throw violent tantrums and foam at the mouth.
Según testigos, ella presentó una aparente posesión satánica luego de jugar a la Ouija.
Her voice changed too. It became strained and evil as she thrashed about in her restraints. The poor girl often shouted the same phrases over and over again. She would repeat the number 6 3 times in a row, and she would also tell doctors to give her back her phone, presumably so that she could get back on the Ouija app and cause further damage. She was taken to a psychiatric ward to be further examined. Whether she regained her senses or remains internally possessed is the mystery. Number 9, the summoning. 4 girls are about to witness the power of the Ouija board firsthand. The video begins just as they are receiving an answer to their final question, and they are now ready to end the session. They start to move the cup in a circle 3 times to clear the board, but whatever they have summoned is not exactly ready to leave quite yet.
Okay. Oh my god! It's hard.
Just before the girls can cast the spirit back into its own dimension, it desperately leaps inside one of them and takes control. Then the possession ends as quickly as it began. They all rush in and one of the girls cradles her friends in her arms as she cries and trembles. They ask if she needs any water. Even though I'm not sure exactly what happened, I think it's safe to say that a glass of water probably isn't going to be enough to help her. Number 8. Stuffed stare. As this footage from Mexico shows, humans are far from the only things that can potentially become possessed by summoned spirits. In this video, 3 friends are just hanging out together in a cramped room, trying to use a Ouija board to summon whatever spirits they can find. Suddenly, it looks like they attract some supernatural attention. You can't hear any sound, but you can tell things are starting to get interesting by the way they all lean forward and wait for the next answer. The room appears to grow very hot for a moment, and the man in the center rubs some sweat from his brow. As he does this, a white stuffed bear above him springs to life. It appears to look down at the 3 of them, and it especially seems to regard the person on the left the most. The man on the left eventually looks up and the 2 lock eyes. He immediately starts to point out the possessed bear to his friends, but when his friends look up to see what he's talking about, the bear stops moving. It looks like they get in a small argument for a moment as the man tries to convince his friends that he isn't making up a story and that he really did see the bear move. One of them picks up the bear and examines it. It doesn't do anything, so they all sit down with the Ouija board and start over again. When they start to ask another question with the Ouija board, the stuffed toy begins to look around some more. This time it makes no attempt to hide itself as they all turn around and watch in horror. They all jump up from their seats and run out of the room, so terrified that none of them even think to take the camera with them. If you're enjoying the video so far, please give it a like as it really helps me out. Number 7. Homemade possessions. You don't need to buy an official Ouija board if you want to contact the dead. G Money Gaming and his friend decided to do it themselves using a Ouija board that they made with a piece of paper and a plastic pointer. Little did they know how effective their design would turn out to be. G Money begins asking if there are any spirits in the room with them, and he immediately gets a positive response. When he asks how many spirits there are, the answer is 2. By this point, G Money and his friend are sufficiently scared, but they decide to keep going anyway. G Money bravely asks the spirits what their names are, and he gets a dreadful response: Zozo and Mama. These 2 spirits are famous for haunting Ouija board users throughout the world, and they are even rumored to possibly be demons with strong ties to Satan.
Especially Zozo.
Zozo. Zozo. Oh my god, dude.
What's that?
What the heck was that? We need to end the session right now.
The Ouija board starts to spell Zozo over and over again in rapid succession, and then something is knocked over from deeper within the house. The 2 friends know that they have to end the session fast before anything bad can happen, so G Money quickly moves the pointer over to goodbye. Just when this happens, the pointer slides away as if something had grabbed it. As they back out of the room, the entire board flies at them, and they launch into a full sprint. Number 6. Lisa. A man and a woman managed to successfully summon a female spirit while a 3rd person films. Lisa, the spirit spells Lisa.
Did you push that?
I did not push that.
Seriously, you guys push that over to the X like that?
No.
Not at all.
Mm-mm.
You guys doing something underneath the table?
No.
That looked like it moved all on its own.
After this, the pointer dashes to the letter X on its own. Neither one of them appear to have pushed the pointer to the letter X. It seems to have moved there completely on its own. The cameraman checks under the table for magnets, but he doesn't find any, and there doesn't look to be any strings. There's a quick cut in the video, so unfortunately we can't exactly hear the next question that they asked. Either way, the pointer circles a bit and lands on yes, and then it darts on its own back to the mysterious letter X for a second time. If this video is to be believed, then why did the spirit repeatedly choose the letter X? Perhaps it could have meant that it was an ex-lover, or on the other hand, the letter X could even represent her death. Exactly what Lisa wanted will never be known. They understandably backed away from the board after the second time that the pointer moved on its own. However, it doesn't look like they properly ended the ceremony, so perhaps Lisa will be back for a second visit after all. Number 5. Did you die in the house? Number 5. Contact. Peru continues to experience a high concentration of Ouija board possessions, this time in the city of Jaén. Blanca Giovanna is only 16 years old when she and her other friends began to use the board for fun. Like so many others, she is not aware of the board's true danger and she is swallowed by evil for her ignorance. It's unclear how many times Blanca and her friends used the board to summon demons before she was finally overtaken by one. Maybe she became possessed after using the board just once. Or perhaps it took days of repeated attempts before a demon found its way from the board into her soul.
We all want to help the ones we love make healthy choices, especially when they don't necessarily know what's best for them.
Getting this Khalifa Kush from Dr. Devil. Thank you. Thank you. The commercial on next.
Exactly how the demon got her is unknown, but in other Ouija board possession cases, it's usually either from taunting the spirit or failing to banish them back to their realm at the end of the ceremony. What we do know is that this began a minor possession which soon grew out of control. Blanca went from being a carefree teenager to a violent maniac in just a matter of days. Her behavior became so aggressive that her family eventually could no longer deal with her. They had her committed for a lack of a better idea. While in her possessed form, Blanca continued to amaze and scare psychiatric workers to no end. Her evil antics even began to draw a crowd of curious locals and news reporters, who all agreed that she had seen the face of Satan. When she wasn't trying to attack them outright, she was shouting mysterious satanic phrases and wailing terribly. Like her family, the psychiatric ward eventually ran out of ideas and settled on chaining her to the wall to protect her from others. The demon stayed inside her body for at least 21 days. This was in 2011, and while locals may not know what has happened, no follow-up reports have ever left the city. This lack of information has led many to speculate that perhaps Blanca had to either been exiled or even killed so that the rest of the town could be saved.
Dang.
Number 4, Josh says, this footage comes from a YouTuber named No Biggie TV, who decided to tempt fate and make a video testing out Ouija boards. He is extremely skeptical at first, and he points out that Ouija boards can't be that scary if they are allowed to sell at Toys R Us. While he is waiting in line to buy it, however, a woman asks if he knows where the idea from Ouija boards came from. She says that the man who invented it sold his soul to the devil, and that making it readily available to kids was part of an evil conspiracy. No Biggie TV ignores her warning and buys the board anyway. He picks up a friend named Dave and heads to Dave's apartment. After briefly reading some instructions, they are quickly communicating with the dead in no time. They contact a spirit who says his name is Josh. He was born in 1921. Things are getting a little too scary, so No Biggie TV pulls a prank on his friend by pretending to be possessed, and then the two get back to being serious. As the ceremony progresses, they start to hear breathing and other strange thumping noises.
Besides the kitchen and the dog.
The thumping?
No, I hear some kind of breathing. That is so fucking spooky. What the fuck?
Josh tells him that the house is not safe after using the Ouija board, but there is one thing that they can do to possibly change that. Burn me, Josh writes to them. Obviously, no one wants to have a haunted house, so the two friends waste little time doing exactly what Josh asks. They take the board around back and set the entire thing on fire, box and all. As the box burns, Dave's car starts to turn on randomly on its own. Even after they put the fire out, they could still hear the board sizzle. It gave No Biggie TV an electrical shock when he touched it. Unfortunately, they couldn't burn the board properly, so they decided to drive as far as possible and throw it away instead. Although they did say goodbye to the board, nowhere in the video does it show them properly ending the session. Just how angry Josh will be that they didn't follow his exact orders remains to be seen. Number 3, the pizza possession. Jackson Combs and his friend Stacy are bored late at night when they decide to summon some spirits to help pass the time. They are joined by a third friend, Alice, who brings with her the top of a pizza the box. Together, they use it to make a homemade Ouija board. It's well past 1 in the morning by the time the three of them agree on a place to use it. They use a small cap as a pointer and spin it in 3 circles to clear the board. Then they begin. Is anybody there? Jason asks. The pointer does not move, so he repeats himself. That's when the cup moves down into the left, stopping on yes. Jason asks what the spirit's name is, and the ghost writes back Susan. When asked if the spirit is good or bad, Susan says that she is good. Then she says that she wants someone named Danny. None of them know who Danny is, so Susan says goodbye. The 3 friends could have stopped here, but they enjoyed the experience, so they decided to keep it up and try to contact other spirits. Again, they make 3 circles with the cup to clear the board. Another spirit soon makes itself known, but this time it isn't as nice as Susan. Instead of asking what the spirit's name is, Jason asks if it's a good spirit. It signals that no, it is not. They could have immediately discontinued contact from there, but they weren't feeling threatened enough at the time. Jason asks for its name. John, it writes back. What do you want? Jason asks out loud. Kill is the response that he is given. Even though no other questions are asked, the cup suddenly moves to the no answer and flips over. The 3 of them hear a noise coming from the bathroom, and Jason goes inside to investigate. The door shuts behind him and the house fills with his screams. When the girls are able to get the door open, he is cowering in the corner. Whatever had been summoned had viciously attacked him. Number 2, Japanese TV. These 3 girls playing with a Ouija board seem to be on some sort of Japanese television show. This isn't very surprising since some of the scariest evidence of the paranormal seems to come from Japanese game shows or investigation series. The girls have apparently been threatened by the spirit to not film this encounter, but it's clearly not their decision. The board or spirit threatens to curse the girls and they are understandably shaken up. It doesn't take long for all hell to break loose after this. One of the girls claims to see a woman and the group jumps, leaving 2 of the 3 young girls on the floor. In their panic, the quarter they were using as the planchette begins to move swiftly on its own. Furniture in the room begins to fly around as if being thrown, and a strange loud clicking can be heard. The footage becomes more and more chaotic before the video ends, leaving the viewer with concern and a desire for more insight.
This is it. The big
I must be half a bitch. These motherfuckers is catching me.
Before we get to number 1, if you've ever been curious as to what I look like in real life, then follow me on Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT. I also have a Twitter at YTChills where I post video updates. I'd really appreciate it if you followed me, and feel free to send me a DM if you have any questions or suggestions. Number 1, mass possession. The Elsa Perea Flores High School in Peru is said to be incredibly haunted. According to local rumors, the school was built on a gravesite that the mafia used to bury corpses. In May of 2016, a group of school children used a Ouija board to summon the spirit of one of the dead victims, and this footage showed it absolutely worked. Shortly after using the Ouija board, at least 20 students were all affected by a mass hallucination. The children fell to the ground and went into seizures as they vomited. They were uncontrollable and had to be loaded into trucks and driven to the hospital for examinations. In the weeks that followed, almost 100 other students fell victim to the same mysterious condition. They would be acting normally one moment and then on the ground having a full-blown seizure the next. It was always on school property. In fact, it wouldn't be uncommon for students from different classes to pass out at the exact same time. Many of the students complained about the same evil spirit attacking them, a man dressed in all black with a big bushy beard. He always wanted to hurt them, they said. It also wasn't uncommon for the children to hear voices and feel relentlessly stalked, like someone was gonna come up from behind and snatch them at any moment. One of the students even claimed to have felt a large pair of hands tighten around her neck. You would think that they could somehow fight back, but high school ends earlier in Peru than most other countries. As such, these were all children between the ages of 11 and 14. They were all completely helpless and unable to defend themselves. The school officials eventually sought the help of Catholic priests to perform exorcisms and to hold mass. Unfortunately, none of this seems to have helped very much. According to the latest reports, whatever was unleashed by the Ouija board continues to haunt the poor school kids to this day.
Damn. Yeah. That's fucked up with the kids, though. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Playing with fucking Ouija boards, man. Yes, all kids. Could they sell it to kids? That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. Oh, I'm not here. I'm trying to find another camera so I can record my phone showing this shit live type shit. Cause I got the little SLS cameras. I want y'all to see the little stick figures and shit I be seeing in the garage and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Damn. But yeah, I'm still trying to find a live one for real ghost hunt without all the music and theatrics and all that shit. Still trying to see that shit. But my crazy thing is the shit I hear, my dog don't hear a fucking thing. And like I got a kennel. So I raise and I train personal protection dog. And she's like the queen of that shit. So like I don't understand. I done seen doors open and close, monitors, my Xbox keep cutting on and off on their own. But not off but on. It's like, you ready to play? Boop. Shit crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people put my phone in airplane mode. Like, shit, wow. Let it keep playing. I got my son a sweet ass black thing. I soak the waters in holy water and edit his whole ass outside. But yeah, though, shout out to Dr. Dabber for this nice ass piece right here, man. Khalifa Kush Edition, the Dabber XS. You know what I'm saying? That bitch heats up on its own. Check the temperature. Nice water bomb. Don't use no flame. Very safe. Stealth. Sexy. Heat chain. Go further. Yeah, it's like, yeah, when I said the shit changed. You know what I'm saying? That was nice. That was nice. Shout out for Munchies for the most fucking moist and beautiful ass goddamn treats. They get you so motherfucking high. And a drink to chase it and get you either high. Yeah. But this was another one, man. I'm thinking about doing another pet one. Y'all let me know if y'all want that. Because it's going to be like a bunch of Reddit videos. You know what I'm saying? Compile the bitches together. It's going to be like the shit we just saw. So I'll probably narrate that shit and run that shit pre-recorded. And I just fucking chart the chat type shit. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah. You know what I mean? Because that last one got like 900 some views we did. Like, I was like, ooh, happy as hell. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary. Shit. That's what's up. That's what's up. Thank you, Luke. But shit, let's give a shout out to everybody in the motherfucking goddamn chat. Nicole the Pisces Queen, goddamn Danny Monique, Cameron Ross Green, Marianne Sue, Beyonce Rucker, Luke. You know what I'm saying? Thank y'all for showing up. Y'all always my day ones, man. It's always been love. Black love. If she showed up or not, but if not, shout out to Black Love. So give a shout out to Good Little for Gamer, you know what I'm saying? One of our sponsors. To give a shout out to Munchies and give a shout out to motherfucker Dr. Death. Special shout out to Chills, man. Y'all check him out. I'm gonna add him on to the motherfucker video and shit. Shout his ass out too in the description. You know what I'm saying? Check him out. He got some good shit, man. And it's to the mom, man. I fucking holler at y'all, man. Be good.